Hello everybody, we are live from Copenhagen. I'm Reto-moto and with me today is Reto-deshi. And we are gonna be doing the update preview stream, meaning that we're gonna look at the 109 update. The program of the Twitch today is gonna be about a few news, then the tweaks we did to the level designs. We're gonna do a giveaway. We're going to look at the adjusted lighting and the muzzle smoke. We're going to have a look at the helmet paints and the vehicle paints. And we're going to have a look at the new bulletin screen and some changes we did to the UI. So we're going to have a full show today. A lot to get done. First off, the news. As hopefully many of you have already seen on our webpage, we finally found the issue that was causing the servers to be rather unstable. We're very happy about finding that. I know Reto is really happy about finding that.
He's been gloating all week.
And deservedly so. And as we've stated many times, we are very, very, very sorry that the servers didn't perform like we wanted them to. And to make up for this, there's a 30-day veteran membership for you. The voucher can be found on the heroesandgenerals.com website. In other news, a great deal of time ago, we actually released the 108.1 update with weapon tweaks. I hope you already saw that and tried out the weapon tweaks. And the 109 actually is already on the prototype server. So if you haven't had a look at it yet, you can actually jump into the prototype server and have a look at all the stuff that we're going to talk about. You might already seen a lot of it as well, but keep watching anyways, because there might be stuff you've missed, and we're going to go into details on why and how we did some of the changes we did. In other news, we have the Reto Insider Summit coming up, actually in about a week from now. We've invited 9 players from all over the world to come join us in our offices in Copenhagen. These 9 players, we hope, can give us a lot of input on what they like about the game and what they want to improve about the game. You can find information on who the 9 players we invited are on the website, along with a program on what they're going to experience while they're here. And we're going to follow up with reports on what happened and photos and Facebook stuff and all that. So even if you weren't invited to the Reto Summit, you can still, be kind of a part of it. Finally, as you might have noticed in your home cities, a lot of kids were running around with blood on them, not because they were hurt, but Halloween was just here, and of course we have the Halloween War in Heroes and Generals. There's a blog post online as well. Go check it out before Halloween, or Halloween War, as we say, is over. And that's it for the news, actually. So let's dig into the maps.
Sure.
A lot of people have been asking, they always ask, why do we keep tweaking the maps we already have?
Well,
so let's get that out of the way first.
Well, I mean, there's always improvements that can be made, and people in the community are constantly playing the game and finding out exploits and that kind of thing. So I think it's important to keep listening to what the community is saying about the maps, the feedback that they have, and iterating. That's kind of like how we've always done things.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we're going to stop with new maps. We still have a huge focus on making new maps. I know right now that there's a bunch of people who are not in this room, who are in another room working on getting the Soviet map ready, the Soviet skirmish. And I've been working on an encounter map in the French terrain, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that we're working on. But for 109, we decided that we were just gonna use a little bit of time, go through the forum, and talk to the community and see like what was the kind of the places where we could get most improvement on the current maps for like the least amount of time. That means it's like it's not huge things that's been changed. it's the little things that add like quality of life for the players, and it's focused on the assault maps.
Yeah. And a lot of the input you got is from the Map Talk forums.
Yes, we opened that Map Talk forum a couple of months ago, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
And I've been very active in it as part of Glassnest, and talking to everyone about each individual map, and it's been fun.
It's great.
Yeah.
We might point out that I've read through some of the threads, and some of you have very, very extensive input on the map, really impressive. But I'm guessing even if you as a player has a small input and has no graphic ability to actually show you, the input is still
Definitely. Actually, I feel like sometimes a small opinion is worth more than a huge. There are a lot of cool people. I'm gonna name drop some of them later on the map forum who are posting big ideas and stuff. But and that's good. But I want to hear from everyone, like not just super hardcore map.
So you shouldn't be scared.
No, you should post and also different types of players have different ways of playing. Like some play infantry and some play it in a specific way. Some play tank or recon or paratroop or that. So depending on your playstyle, you might have different experiences of the map, and it's very important that we get everyone's opinion in the forum. So keep telling me everything that's wrong.
Let's dig into some of the changes, though.
Yes.
We have a few minor changes to 2 of the maps, right?
Yes, we're gonna go into to 3 of the maps, but first, Factory and Airfield, they have only a couple of changes, so I'm not gonna go into the engine and show it. I'm just gonna show you a picture of it. Simply because some of the things, there are still problems with Airfield and Factory, many, but it was felt that some of the things we want to do with them is better kept for a big update. So we just did some small things to fix some of the worst problems. So let's start with Airfield. So on Airfield, the changes was focused around the deploy zones for O2 and O3. These are objective deploy zones, which are, because it's an airfield, it's a very open space, and both of those deploy zones have like problems with mountains being right beside them or behind them, and tanks and recon and scoped rifle users are camping people coming out of the deploy zone. So if you look at this one, it's the deploy zone for the control tower, where you spawn inside of the hangar. And this is how it is now, where I've added some another barracks and some trees, and a second line of trees over here.
Yeah.
And that's basically to view block, not completely, but partially view block, so that you don't have a completely open line of sight from the mountain down to the exit of the deploy zone. So people should be able to move out of the deploy zone more safely now.
They have a fair chance of actually getting out alive. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure someone will find a way, but it's
that's kind of the nature of the game, though.
Yeah. But it's better, I think, and it also makes the area look more interesting on a map that is very barren. And it's kind of the same case on the E-bunker deploy zone. In this case, I've also added some more trees behind the deploy zone, where before it was completely open, and the mountain that you see behind here, it's a very favorite place for tanks to creep up and just kill everyone who's exiting the deploy zone, especially other tankers, like the tankers who are spawning there have a very hard time leaving there because the enemy can be anywhere in the mountain. So these new trees should view block that a bit. Try to fix that. And then on Factory, on Factory there's only one edit. We decided to focus our efforts on some of the other assault maps. The only one we have here is that we added a wall to the O2 deploy zone, which is also kind of a similar situation to the other two, where there's a hill, which is a favorite spot for terrible people who want to kill people, who want to slaughter people coming out of the deploy zone. So hopefully this wall blocks some of that.
Again, yeah. Cool.
But that's basically the only thing we did on factory.
So those are the minor changes, and then we're gonna go into the game to actually look at. I guess we're gonna look at the mountain town first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Mountain Town. From what I gathered on the forum, I tried to kind of see what is the biggest problem that I can fix.
Yeah.
And the gist of the input for Mountain Town seems to have been. Why is it not loading? It's not loading.
That's the thing about computers; they never work when they need to. We're just gonna fiddle around with it and get it to work.
Yeah. I swear to God, guys, this was working like right before we started this. It's not doing anything.
We might have the prototype running still.
2 seconds, guys.
This is what happens. Great thing we're not live. Or
Well, it's loading. Fantastic. Well, the thing about Mountain Town is kind of the line that everyone hates has been A-line. That's been, if you go on the forum and ask people what's the worst part of Mountain Town, it's definitely A-line. And the thing about A-line is that currently on live, it's kind of cradling this mountain, and then you have to cross the river to get to the docks and capture that. And because it's cradling the mountain, you get a lot of horrible, terrible people who go up on the mountainside and just camp the deploy zones. And the deploy zones were very, very small, so they're very easy and out in the open, very easy to camp. So what we've done is, you can probably already see it here. This deploy zone here used to be over here on the road. It didn't used to have any cover and used to be just straight on the road, and the road was literally right next to the mountain, so very easy to camp. Instead now it's become this very wide deploy zone, which is covered by trees. And if you spawn here, you can kind of, because you're spawning in kind of a wide zone, you'd be able to choose to go left or right of A2. And if you go left of A2, you will kind of be view blocked from the mountain. So that's basically fixing one of the kind of troublesome deploy zones. So let me just get on my bike. So I also moved this bike shed so that you're more likely to come across transportation when you're going from between the points. And then down here is the next deploy zone, the deploy zone between A2 and A3. And here I've added these buildings, so, and it's also moved slightly away from the mountain, but having these buildings gives you some protection when you're spawning there. So that, you know, you can see there isn't exactly, there are still lines of sight to the mountain, but again, if you were so inclined, you could get out of the spawn protection here. Now you can hug this wall
and be protected.
And you can be protected from these snipers. And you can see, if you know how it is on live right now, you would be completely exposed coming out of this zone, and you'd be much closer to the mountain. So that'd be pretty terrible for you. Yeah. Let me go on my bike. So hopefully moving those to deploy zones away from the mountain and giving them more protection will create a situation where you're not getting camped as much.
Yeah.
That's at least my hope.
Can only hope, yeah.
So let's just go to the docks, to O2, to see like one of the major changes and also a huge source of complaint. So the problem with O2 has been, as it's been reported by the community, is that on live it only has, the deploy zone only has one exit. And that's very campable. And basically people have been just exploiting that one exit, and it's been very terrible. And when I went on the forum, I asked a lot of people like, what's the worst part? And everyone mentioned this part as the worst part. So what it used to be that there was only this exit, and all of the defenders who were defending O2, they have to come out of this exit, and everyone's just, it basically,
pretty easy to pick them off.
Yeah, and it almost becomes essential to winning, to capturing the point to spawn camp, and that's not what we want. So let me just zoom out of here. Basically, here I have to give a shout out to Radical Edward, who's a very frequent poster on the forum, who came up with basically this idea of expanding this area, giving it multiple exits, putting some more houses there, which basically...
We featured his stuff in the intelligence bulletin.
Oh, we did give him credit. Well, still giving you credit. But
I think if you go into the intelligence bulletin on the website, you can actually see Radical Edwards.
Yeah, he made a little
sketch
drawing. Yeah, made a lot of drawings. But I think this is probably gonna improve the map a lot, because there's so much of the game boils down to this objective.
Yeah.
And it tends to deadlock there and become not what you want.
No.
Turn into a camping fest. And now you can see there are 1, 2, 3, and if you're infantry, you could jump on these crates.
Yeah.
And next.
Radical Edward 2, yeah.
Who's the first one?
Who's the first?
The second. No, I think it's going to be a huge improvement. And it also allows me to spawn people in kind of different areas of the deploy zone, and kind of suggest so that you don't get everyone running out of the same exit. And for example, here there are some crates which are blocking, basically view blocking down the street, so that if you're coming out of this gate, you'll be view blocked so that there can't be a tank that's just mowing you down. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of Mountain Town, is that we try to improve A-line, make the deploy zones much more protected from the mountain, and then we fix this deploy zone, which I feel like is the worst part of it. We did some other changes as well, but I'm not going to go into them because we'll be here for a long time. Yeah. There are changes to the other lines as well.
And again, it's on the prototype server.
Yeah, you can go and test it.
If you want to go see what else is there, you can go test it.
Yes.
But that's it for the Mountain Town.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're, again, very appreciative of the community feedback that we got.
It's really, I feel like this deploy zone is one of the first times we've really been able to work with the community in a meaningful way, and I've been very happy to like go back and forth. It's been fun.
That's great. Great. Thank you. Then we're moving on to the next zone, which according to my manuscripts, which should be the forward airfield.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's talk forward airfield. Well, if you On the forum, I feel like most people are generally positive on forward airfield, but there was a lot of people who thought that C-line in particular wasn't as fun or as detailed as the other lines. And there were also some very good community suggestions for improving that line. And I do feel like it is the worst of the lines, and it does correspond with. We have the rate your match at the end.
Yeah.
And you can see like C-line is generally rated lower than the other lines, so it made sense to go in there
And have a look at it.
and have a look at it. Yeah. So it hasn't changed all that much, and hasn't changed in the way where you spawn or anything. But let's spawn here. Basically, the first edit is to add this row of trees along the road. I felt like when you're fighting between C1 and C2, it was very barren, and you were just, there was no way to take cover. It wasn't necessarily bad, so it wasn't like exploitable particularly. It was just kind of strange and not very, it wasn't that interesting to play in. So adding this line of cover that goes kind of splits the middle of the line up, maybe that will make it more interesting for you to fight. So yeah, if we just follow this line of trees down here, we will see another suggestion by the friendly Radical Edward, which was to expand the C3 capture zone. So C3, as it is on live right now, it's a very small capture zone, has only one house, which was causing, it was a very important point on the map, and it did tend to kind of, you were fighting over this point a lot, and when there's only one house, and it's a very small zone, it becomes like just like lemmings there. Everyone's going into the zone, and there's a lot of action going around the zone, and everyone just tries to get into that one house and get to the top floor. And we felt it would be more interesting if we expanded the zone, made it larger so there can be more interesting play in it. And Radical Edward had a wonderful, also another drawing of how to expand the zone and add this barn over here as kind of a vantage point. The barn is not part of the zone, the capture zone, but you can kind of go over there, get the high ground, and kind of pick people off as they're moving around inside the zone. And then we, on our own volition, put another house and a garage in here, so that instead of having one focal point in the capture zone, you'd have kind of an interplay between these two very good points and another point, so that if the enemy is entering the zone and you're camping in the house, you will be forced to leave your camping spot, because they can kind of fill up the zone elsewhere, which I think will make this line a whole lot better. So this one, I'm really looking forward to how it plays out on live as well. I'm also like having the frontal barrier of the capture zone being this stone fence, chest high cover. It's also interesting because of its relationship to C2. It's kind of be this open field where people can have like a very cinematic exchange of fire across the fields. And I think this is going to be a very good edit. But yeah, if we move on, I'll just show the last edit that we did is when you're coming to the church and you're deploying out here in the forest when you have to defend it. We kind of had a similar situation to Mountain Town, where you had only one entrance into the capture zone, and then that became extremely campable. So what we've chosen to do with that is to add another.
So we knocked a hole in the wall.
Yeah, we knocked another hole in the wall, and then we knocked another hole in the wall here. So that should make sure that when you're defending the church, you have some options of how you enter the zone.
Yeah.
So if you keep getting killed by some guy here in the corner with his machine gun, you can go around to the other hole and flank him.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a good thing for people. Aside from that, there aren't any changes to Forward Airfield. That's where we've been focusing our.
Okay. Cool.
Can we check the quantities at the high?
So that's it for Forward Airfield. We just gotta check if our input is set like we want to before we continue to the final map. Everything is as it should be.
Right.
Great. So that's it for the Forward Airfield. And again,
Correct.
just to repeat myself, it's on the prototype. So you know, if you want to see what's going on, go into the prototype, try it out, give us some feedback if you want to.
Yes.
And that's about it for Forward Airfield.
Correct.
And we're moving on to town map.
The last one I'm going to
Last
show.
one.
Yeah. So, town map. So town map is one of our oldest maps.
Yeah.
And it's gone through a lot of iterations. And when we changed it to the not new deploy system, but where you move the deploy zones away from the capture zones and have your own deploy zones. Kind of the layout of it was hard to adapt at first, and we didn't know when we were moving to the new system. We hadn't established the best way to place a zone and stuff like that. And what we ended up with on town map is we ended up with some zones that had very long travel times, especially on D and E line, where you have like a very long time to travel, and then no bikes available and stuff like that. And some of the lines like A line and to the extent B line and C line, they're actually fine. But D line and E line, we felt like those have like way too long travel time. So that's kind of like if I could do one thing on town map, that was to improve that. And my focus was on D line. Let me just switch to it. So right away, you can see that the deploy zone between D1 and D2, it used to be here, down in the bottom right, in the forest here. And when you're using this deploy zone, you're basically using it to attack D3 because you own D2 and D1. So you can see moving the zone from down here in the right corner to all the way up here. That's a substantial decrease in the time that it takes you to move to D3. I've also made it kind of a broad deploy zone so that you spawn in a kind of a frontline formation instead of spawning. If you spawn people in a very small space, it becomes very easy to camp. And out here in the beginning of the line, we have a lot of space for deploy zones, so why not let people spawn kind of all over the place. So you can basically see when I'm coming out of this deploy zone, I can kind of see D3 over here across the hills, and I can choose where I'd want to go. And obviously, spawning very close to D2 is going to give the attackers an advantage in the opening game. Get them further down the line in the beginning of the game, so hopefully we will see less of the attackers being kind of pushed back to their access point and just suffering. I don't know I think most people would agree that a game is more fun when it's competitive, when the attackers kind of get to push into the city, maybe fighting to get into the city and stuff like that. So that is, hopefully that'll give the attackers an advantage and help them get into the game faster. And that also means that the capture zone, or the deploy zone between D2 and D3 then is also moved forward because that was kind of close to where the new deploy zone is. So let me just fly a little bit. So let me render. Yeah, so this is the new deploy zone between D2 and D3.
Yeah.
This is the deploy zone that you'll be using when you're attacking the stone bridge. And basically spawning you a little bit closer, but this time I've also placed a bike shed, so you will have transportation for this
as well. Yeah.
I could have pushed it closer, but if I pushed it more to the left here, I'll be pushing it over into E-line, and that's another kind of problem.
Yeah.
So I didn't push it much further, but I did clear out like a bit of an opening here through the forest here, so you can get a glimpse of the stone bridge.
Yeah.
Which I think will be. It feels like you're walking less if you know where you're going.
Yeah.
If you're and I think basically you should be navigating by something you can see in the environment instead of just navigating by the GUI.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
here you can see that the bridge is there, and you can kind of choose your way, go left or right of D3, and I think that'll be very helpful for D-line. Generally speaking, I think it's going to be a big buff for the attackers and make people walk less in open space. Just lastly, when you get to the police station deploy zone has changed a little bit, where now it's been moved a little bit away.
Yeah.
Because what we were seeing is it was so close. It was like a 4 or 5 second travel time from the deploy zone to the objective. So when you're defending that objective, it's very easy to defend. So now we've moved it a little bit away, and we've removed the red staircase, and now you can use this staircase instead, which has multiple exits here. But it adds a little bit to the travel time.
Yeah.
And again, this will also help people on D-line and E-line, because when they finally get to the city, into town, they won't be like stopped because the defenders are so ready to defend the police station. So hopefully that should buff both D and E-line attackers.
It's cool.
And that's basically it. Yeah.
That's it for Mountain Town. And again, it's on prototype, so
Not Mountain Town. It's
not Mountain Town. Sorry,
Different town.
town.
Yes.
It's easy to get confused.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, it's on prototype if you want to see what Deshi has done to the place. Just log on and play the game. And that's about it for the level design tweaks. We're going to post a blog post as well in a few days.
Yeah.
That has a lot of details on what's been going on. And then it's going to be in the 109.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully
For now
out
then,
soon.
and hopefully out soon, yeah. For now then, we're going to do a giveaway, actually. So we're going to go to the giveaway software thingy.
Ankbot.
Ankbot also called, yeah. And make sure it's connected to the Twitch chat and stuff like that.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, it should be connected. Let's see. Oh, man. Should be connected, yeah. So we can say open giveaway.
Open giveaway.
Yeah, it should be. This time we want you not to write the usual stuff. We want you to write Copper Joe. And that's because what you can win this time is a Heroes and Generals mug. Not this mug, because it's dirty. You're going to get a fresh one. But let's see if it's actually open and people are writing in. If it's not open, then we're going to close it and start again.
It's Copper Joe, right?
It's Copper Joe, yeah. It should be on the screen as well for you to read. If you can't read the text, there it was. Giveaway, right. exclamation mark Cover Joe, and then you can take part in winning a Heroes and Generals mug. They're quite new, we just got them a few weeks ago. It seems like it's maybe not connected.
Are people writing stuff?
He's not logged in.
We are not logged in, as we should be. So we're gonna close the giveaway, and then we're gonna go to the... I was shown this just 5 minutes ago.
Det er bare Mike, der siger, at I ikke er logget ind.
We are not logged in at the moment. And I can't remember how to connect again.
You need to click on that little person in the bottom left. And press
Button list. There we are, yeah.
Connect.
Connect. Yes. And then the Twitch streamer, we need to connect that one as well.
Twitch bot.
That's the one we just connected. And then Twitch streamer. One down. Connect. There we are. See, that's how technical we are. And then we should allow entries again. And then give it a go again. See, yeah, now it's working. Yay!
Give it your best shot.
It's a good thing we don't work with computers every day. Oh, yeah.
There they are.
There they are. Great. So while you're writing that, we're actually going to do a small personnel, not switch, but we're going to add on another person who hasn't been on Twitch before.
Dun 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 dun.
All right. Hello.
We're joined by Reto-moto.
Yes, yes indeed.
Welcome to you.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you actually the honor of helping out with the giveaway. So I think everybody's in there. So if you press the close giveaway, there you go, and then pick winner once, and it's going to pick a winner.
How interesting. Is it picking?
It should be picking.
Yes.
There we are.
Woo! High quality H2O.
Great. And the winner should have written a message. Yeah. So
Sweet.
Reto Robotron is going to take care of you and make sure that we get your address so you can get a clean mug.
Well
Great.
done.
That's it for the giveaway.
That was easy.
Reto is going to talk a little bit about the UI, but
Yeah.
not just yet. Sorry.
What are we doing?
I'm gonna steal the stuff before, because we have some other news in the 109. We have some adjustments to lighting, and we have some adjustment to muzzle smoke. And to actually be able to show this off, our chief animator, Reto Colling, has made 2 videos for us. And we're gonna start with having a look at the adjusted lighting settings. See if it works. It does. Cool. As you can see, we have the before and the after. The after is on the right side. And we've twisted the brightness of the game somewhat. Basically putting a bit more light into the darker areas of the game while keeping the dynamic of the color. That also means that we have tweaked the brightening settings a bit. So when you put it all the way to the top in the 109, it's not going to go all white and white. It's still going to keep the image looking nice. The other thing that's part of this is something we're calling eye adjustment. Basically, it's a simulation of real life when if in real life you move from outside to inside a house, your eyes are gonna adjust and make you able to basically see what's going on, and the other way around. That's something we of course have to simulate artificially when you're playing a game. But as you can see in this footage, that when you move outside, the brightness and the colors and light changes a bit, as basically as your eyes get used to how it looks.
So pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty, and it works very well.
Har du muted lyden over, eller hvad?
There should be sound on this one.
Okay. Det er lige meget.
If there's not music on this one, then we're not gonna hum though.
Who's responsible for this beautiful work?
That's Reto calling, and I would guess Reto Hell 9K is involved in making this stuff work for real.
Nice job, guys.
Yeah.
Patting ourselves on the back.
Måske du lige kan introducere Reto-moto.
I did already.
Det ønsker fra Mike.
That's it for the lighting adjustments. And before I start up the next one, I should mention Reto-moto is your title is
UI UX designer.
UI UX designer, yeah. That's why you're here, as mentioned. You're going to talk about the UI in just a second. I'm still going to hog the show for a bit though, because we also made some adjustments to the muzzle smoke of weapons. Again, Reto Calling did us a very nice before and after. The after is again on the right side. And what has happened, as you can hopefully clearly see, depending on your screens, is that the smoke coming when you fire your weapon is less. It's not as, it doesn't block your view as much as it used to. That's giving you a couple of advantages. Basically, it's easier to keep the enemy in your sight, not getting him, all obscured by smoke, and say that you actually get attacked by an enemy. Again, you can actually see your enemy not getting, it's not obscured again by smoke. I think it looks quite nice and helpful, and as you can see as well, it has an effect both on the larger weapon and on the smaller weapons.
Det betyder også noget, når man bliver skudt på.
So, imagining that somebody is actually emptying a full magazine at you, you will be able to shoot back at the actual enemy and not guessing where he is behind all the smoke from his gun. And actually the muzzle smoke has a shorter reach as well, which is quite clear on this shot.
Doesn't give you away as easily as it does.
Exactly, that's exactly the point. It should be able to keep a little bit hit still. But those are two changes coming in the 109. Other stuff coming in the 109 are new helmet paints. We are just going to look at some of the renders. We have 9 new helmet paints coming in the 109, all done by Reto-moto. These are the German ones. We have, for each faction has 2 painted helmets and 1 camouflaged helmet. So the German has a dark one, a light one, and well, it has another name, but to me it's the turtle one, and I think it's very fun.
It's a Goomba.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
We like that one a lot. The Russian as well has 2 painted helmets and a camouflaged one. I talked to Reto-moto about the helmets, and what he said he liked a lot about them is that you as a team, you have the option to use the helmet to show your camaraderie, show that you're a team, that you stick together in the war. So it's quite nice. That should be the US American helmets. again, 2 painted helmets, and a camouflaged helmet. And they're for infantry only, sorry, but they can be combined basically with any infantry uniform that you want to. So that's a bit of more options to actually customize your soldier. And speaking of customization, we're also going to have a short look at the upcoming 14 new vehicle paint jobs coming in. I won't pretend to be an extreme expert on vehicle paint jobs, because I'm not. However, Retro Cristiano, he really is an expert. So he's the one who've actually taught me a bit about some of the skins or the paint jobs we are introducing. And this one, the Jagdpanzer, has the light olive paint job that might look like something that should be in the desert, but actually it's designed for the vehicle to move through, fields of corn and agricultural. So that's where that one actually comes from, and it's gonna be in this one as well. We have one Russian heavy tank that's gonna get 2 different paint jobs, and then all the other tank destroyers are gonna get as well. That should be the M10, if I'm not mistaken, into jobs. That's also gonna be on the M18. That one, Cristiano told me, is the olive and black, the olive drab and black. Up until about 1944, there was no actual official manual in the US Army on how to do these camouflage, but it came out, and what the soldier was told was to apply a black paint on top of the factory paint, and apply the black paint on some of the more protruding and curved elements.
I could
of the
totally
tank.
get into Panzer fashion.
Exactly.
It's very cool.
But simply to obscure the form.
Or just look flashy.
This one that's the Stuke, right? Yeah. It's also gonna get 2. And of course the SU are gonna get 2. This one is not that one, but this one is it's called the Kutushov. That's where the Russian players are gonna kill me because I can't speak Russian.
Butchering it.
Two-tone. Basically, it's a as you can see, a red-brown paint on top of the factory one that was especially effective in the Krakow offensive of May 1942, and also, according to Cristiano, provided an excellent cover in thick forests in summertime. And yeah, that's it. All of them are in the 109, all of them are on the prototype server, so you can go check them out. And that's the me being an expert for now.
Well done.
Now we're actually going to turn over to the stuff that
Oh,
you
yeah.
Reto
Yeah.
really knows.
Let me just log in.
Yes, we're going to switch to Reto Odin's screen.
100%. And nothing is happening.
Well, for all of you who have been on the prototype server,
Yeah.
you
Should
have
we,
seen the bulletin screen that we're going to show you.
Yeah. But there might be a lot of new viewers who have not.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully. Should we just try to kill it off?
Kill it and try again.
Oh, did I pick the right one? Yeah, I did. So what are we running? Is it which one? Not test.
That's prototype.
Ah, there we go.
We're gonna try again. At some point, we might even succeed.
Can people try this? Skal jeg nævne adressen?
If you want to try the prototype, there's a blog post on the website, oceangenerals.com, that specifies what we want you to look at and how you get into the game and all that sort of thing. You need to download a specific client that, when you start it up, looks like this.
Yep.
And that's the thing you're going to tell us more about.
Yes. So, well, this is the new bulletin screen that I'm going to talk about. There are basically 4 major areas of the bulletin screen. We have the war update, which is the most complex component here to the left. Basically, it tells you, it gives you a quick overview of the latest developments in the war. If you're part of it, that is, wouldn't make sense otherwise. So it tells you what war it is, how long it's lasted. Whoops, I'm messing it up here. It tells you the major cities being held by which faction. It tells you whether that has gone up or down for the individual factions since the last update. It tells you something about the army strength. These are inferred from the number of deployed command points, so they will not be exact numbers, but they're good enough
An
to actually.
indication of, at least.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you a good idea of the army strength. We have wins and losses of each faction. Currently, we don't show wins in the column for infantry, land vehicles, tanks, and planes, but that is coming. But we do show the losses. And obviously, we are going to be showing a lot more information as we continue developing this war update, and hopefully at some point it may even mutate into, like a proper stat screen or something like that. But right now it's just meant to sort of give you a quick overview when you log in immediately, so you can see what's going on in the war. It will also tell you if you had any payouts from your war bonds, so you get that information right off the bat.
Nice.
So apart from that, we have the friends list over to the right. So you can immediately see if any of your friends are online. Currently I'm on Robotron's account and he has no friends online, so that's pretty boring. But it will tell you right here to the left. And you can immediately join them from this list. So you get that right off the bat as well. Then, it's come to our attention that a lot of players don't actually visit the website at any point. So a lot of them are missing out on some of the news and as important, some of the change updates that we have. So we have that right here. And some of the latest updates. So you have the news about the 109 public test prototype server over here. Also, we have a little extra thing down here. It's the store highlight, which is basically cycling through sort of the latest store offers. So basically, we don't want you to miss a sale or anything that's could be really, really beneficial to you. So that's available to you right there. This screen should hopefully mutate over time and give you a lot more interesting information that you actually need to perform your duty in the war. On top of that, which this is obviously like the big headline, but we've done a lot of other things as well. We've cleaned up a number of UI elements and we've moved and consolidated some of them to reduce the clutter and make things easier to find in general. So one of the things you will be able to notice is that store has been given a proper tab. It's like a first-rate citizen now with all the other tabs. The bulletin that you've already seen is located way over here. So you just click that to go back to it. Notifications and friends list, that has been moved to the upper right corner. You will remember that it used to be around here. It is now moved over to this area over here. Sorry, this screen is a little off angle. So yeah, here's your friend list. It's very boring right now, no friends. And your notifications. Apart from that, we've consolidated the investments and stats, which was previously 2 separate screens. We've consolidated that and put it into your account. So when you click on your account name, you can see that immediately in one screen. It's much better that way, that we didn't have to click on various things to actually get all the information that you needed. So yeah. On top of that, the client has become a lot more stable. We've studied the crash reports and isolated the most common causes and fixed them. Obviously, that's a continuing effort. This is not news. It's something we're doing all the time, but it's just, it's worth actually mentioning. Having mentioned this, we also have added a number of small quality of life changes and fixes. I won't actually have time to go through all of them, but I would like to point out a few of them. One of the ones that we can immediately reach from this screen is, can't actually see it right now, but if you're actually part of a squad, you will be able to just click on your squad member and leave the squad immediately from down here in the quick squad area. Before, you had to go in here. You had to go into the squad tab, and then you actually had to, and it was, it's extra clicks, and that's one thing, but it was very, very hidden. So a lot of new players didn't actually understand how to sort of exit a squad if they didn't want to be part of it anymore. So now that actually is down here where you would expect to find it. So that's an improvement, at least I think so. In the strategy game, now you can move multiple units. Let's see if we actually have the ability to do anything about that right now. So yeah. So if you hold Ctrl while clicking units, you're actually able to select a number of them and just move them. Or you're able to just hold down Shift and click from one end to the other. Say if I want to select all of these, I just hold down Shift and then move them exactly like I want to. So this multi-select will also make it easier to move a lot of units around the map, and it should relieve a lot of frustration in moving large quantities and being more nimble and move individual units around. So hopefully that'll be a help to our poor generals.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, they won't get wrist injuries or anything like that and behind their desks. Another sort of quality of life thing we've done is a number of you have mentioned that the enemies are able to very often hide behind these HUD icons that we show while you're actually playing. So we've added an option it's actually, if you go look for icon fade in the game, you will have the option to actually hide the icons.
Okay.
And you can do it in various ways. You can hide them always when you're looking directly at them, or you can hide them when you're actually going into precision mode, i.e. aiming with your gun, or you can do sort of a combination of those two. So you should have ample opportunity to actually relieve stress and remove some of those icons and not have enemies hiding behind them, which is kind of frustrating currently. So that's been added as well. There are a number of these little things that we added here and there, and points for finding all of them, I guess.
That, or you could go into the changelog when it's coming up.
That too.
That's gonna have
That's
them
probably
as well.
a hell of a lot easier.
Probably not as much fun, but easier.
Yeah. So that's that's what we've been working.
Thank you very much.
On in the UI team.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for today. If you're just catching up with the show now, we've been talking about the 109 update. which is going to be called Battle Flow, by the way. I should have mentioned that about an hour ago. We've shown the level design tweaks. We've shown the adjustments we made to lightning and the adjustment we made to the muzzle smoke. You've seen all the new helmet paints. You've seen all the new vehicle paint jobs. And you just got a view of the new bulletin screen and some of the UI changes coming in the 109 update. If you missed the start of this show, it's going to be available on YouTube. And, well, you could, of course, also make sure that you follow us on Twitch. If I'm not mistaken, it should be somewhere around there. You can, of course, also follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and you can stop by our webpage, heroesandgenerals.com, for the latest news on the game. Next Wednesday is going to be the Q&Y show. Reto is once again going to dig into the questions from you, the community. And if you're really fast watching this live or something like that, you can actually post questions for that show. We're going to close the posting of questions tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And then we're going to go into the voting on what questions Reto should answer. So go and do that. You do that on the website as well. And see, that's the end of my notes. So I hope you had a good show. We had a fun show. And we hope to see you online in the game. Take care, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.